Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Gripe. Today is Sunday, August 23rd, and I'm going to talk about corporate America investing in politicians. The 2026 midterms are proudly sponsored by crypto, artificial intelligence, and online gambling. Three industries that would be delighted to write their own regulations if Congress could kindly stop pretending to help. And this doesn't include the big PACs like APAC and others like them investing in our politicians. And so we've already, just outside of APAC, have spent $517 million during the first 15 months of the election cycle, already exceeding the $461 million corporate total for the entire 2024 cycle. And we haven't even gotten to the midterms yet. So people are still spending money. But Neil, our buddy here, Neil, just found out that the Kushners met with our House Minority Speaker, Hakeem Jeffries, who, by the way, is the recipient of, and I'll put it up right here, $1.5 million from pro-Israel PACs alone. And this is just on track APAC. This doesn't include any other PACs. So Neil, what is going on?
Same thing that always goes on. It's about money, and it's about buying off our politicians. Every vote is for sale. Okay. And what we are seeing is we are seeing a corporate Democratic Party that's for sale. And, it's a matter of now everybody's gearing up for the midterms. The prediction is that Democrats will take the House. They may take the Senate. We don't know. That's a possibility, though. And this outside money, whether it be from data centers, whether it be from APAC, whether it be from energy companies, who names it, people are getting sick and tired of the propaganda and the lies, and these politicians that are running, you see these ads. They give no details. They provide no policy changes. It's just the other guy sucks and I'm a little bit better. Like
Yes.
that's the whole argument that both sides are really doing, right? The only ones that are really running on an actual platform is the Democratic Socialists of America. I keep saying it. You may not like them. You may not even like the policies, but they're the only ones discussing policy. The only ones discussing policy. The only policy that the Republicans and corporate Democrats seem to agree on and seem to want to push are tax cuts for billionaires. That is it. That
like they haven't got enough already.
But think about it. That they are pushing even more tax cuts. You have Scott Bessent released two policy initiatives where he wanted to use the Treasury Department to cut taxes for the wealthy, right? And it goes into interpretations of the law, right? So it's a reinterpretation of an existing law that allows basically another tax break for billionaires. That's what they are going for. That's the only thing that both sides agree on. So this meeting between, Kushner and Jeffries, the claim is that they discussed housing, immigration, cost of living, and keep in mind, we've heard this before. And then Democrats win, and then we hear, well, we just want to move forward. We don't want to look back. Right?
Not this time.
We don't want to investigate. And we see this all the time. Meanwhile, I'm still listening to Republicans talk about fucking Benghazi. And Trump has done a million things that were a million times worse. But I'm still hearing about investigations into Hunter Biden's laptop and, like bullshit stuff. Bullshit stuff. And I'm really just sick and tired of it. Nobody cares. Americans are struggling day to day with just being able to put food on their table, being able to pay for their health care. And the response that we're getting from this administration is you can go deeper into debt and fuck you.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. That's it. Look at what's happening. Gary, Indiana has been without power for over 9 days.
Yes.
Okay. The governor there is not helping, right? Like it's come out now that the governor that's sitting on $2 billion, right, in fund balance and surplus, okay, has said that that's not the government's job. He made it to the point where he's basically saying everybody for themselves in this country, okay, and you
Well, that's
cannot trust
yeah,
or rely on
that's the
government to
theme.
help you. That is the
Yeah.
theme. But they're making that theme come true in a real way. So now you're paying taxes to your state and your federal government, okay? And now even the basic promises of shelter, energy, those type of, are now like gone. You don't have those anymore. Okay? And they're and Indiana's not the only state. You have Florida. Look at Puerto Rico right now. Puerto Rico's been without water for almost a month now, okay? They're rationing water in Puerto Rico because the drought is so bad that they don't have water, okay? What's this administration doing? Nothing. You have NGOs down there that are doing their best handing out water. You got rationing of water. You got people climbing their roofs trying to see if they can capture what little rainwater is coming out. You have businesses that are putting buckets underneath their air conditioner, okay?
Wow.
To try to see if they can capture some of the water dripping off of their air conditioner.
Holy shit. That's terrible.
Right. That's what's happening right now in America.
In
This
America,
is
the richest
America.
country in the world. Richest
right.
country in the world if you're a billionaire.
FEMA has decided that it no longer has an obligation. You have these storms that are coming out of nowhere. Nobody's helping. There is no savior here. There is no government coming to help you. Your tax dollars do not go for anything other than to line the pockets of the corporate billionaire class. That is it. You
Yes.
are paying for nothing. So when Jeffrey sits down with Kushner and tries to discuss what's going to happen when Democrats can take control of Congress and what policies that they want to do, the answer is that Democrats are not going to do anything. Democrats are not going to challenge. They're not, they'll put up a couple of bullshit investigations that will go nowhere, that'll take years, and then they're going to say, well, we have to investigate and we need years, right? Everything is time with these people. It takes forever. They didn't even indict Trump on those New York crimes. They didn't indict him until he was running for president already, till he was already in the middle of his election. Meanwhile, they had that 4 years earlier, which they could have charged him with, okay, and gotten it out of the way, okay, but no, they waited, right? Because he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire, and that's what they do. Everything is about protecting the billionaire class. And as much as you may want to say Trump, the fact is that you have to look at this. Why are Republicans not standing up to Trump? Right?
They're getting paid off.
But who's paying them?
Billionaires.
Right. This is what boggles my mind. If the billionaires didn't want what's currently going on, the Republicans wouldn't be going along with it. They're being paid to continue this nonsense. They're being paid to continue the brutalization of Americans, the incarceration of Americans, the arresting of Americans. They're the ones paying for these things to happen because it's all about control for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
The surveillance state that we're seeing, right? To monitor us. They're watching us. We talked about this in another episode, in a previous episode, about how all of this surveillance infrastructure, they're not pointing at immigrants. Those cat flock cameras are in your backyard. They're down your street. They're in your neighborhood. They're looking at you.
They keep saying, oh, they're just license plate readers. but then you have a flock camera in their park. Okay? Who's driving through your park where there are no roads that you need a flock camera license plate reader? Right?
Exactly.
Because they're not license plate readers. That's only one functionality.
It's absolutely crazy.
It boggles my mind that you again, what a society values is what they spend money on. And you could clearly see this government has stopped caring about its people a long time ago. And I keep hearing, politicians on both sides of the aisle talking about, well, we really care about Americans and we want to protect Americans, as Americans are dying every day in this country due to lack of healthcare, lack of food, lack of water, it goes on and on. Protect us from what? That's what I want to know. Protect us from what?
We need to be protected from the billionaires is what we really need protection from. Because look, they put out a mission. They had a plan to somehow prove that government doesn't work, and then they set out to break it. That's what they're doing to prove their point. Fact is government does work. They don't want it to work for you. They want it to work for them and demonstrate that we need to be reliant upon them, and maybe they'll sprinkle some of their money on you, which is a crock of shit.
Well, how is that? How are those people in Gary, Indiana?
Yeah, how are they doing without any lights?
How are they doing? Right. How are the people in Puerto Rico doing right now?
They're no clean water.
It's the fact is government does have a role. It's not communist to say that government doesn't have a role. It's such bullshit. This whole communism argument is such bullshit because government has a role. And those people in Gary, Indiana, who are begging and pleading for help, and their government does nothing because you have idiots running around talking about communism. Those people need help. Those people need water. They need power. They need food.
All of that, right. That's going to cause you to have food problems, right? Your refrigerator doesn't work, so shit goes bad.
Some people haven't eaten there. So what did the government do, right? What did the government do? The government decided that they were going to issue food subsidies, like a SNAP, like an emergency SNAP to these people. So they give them a emergency SNAP card that they can go to the local supermarket and buy food. The local supermarket has no goddamn food because they have no freezers because they have no power. So you give them a stipend to go shop at a place where there's nothing for them to buy.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Like I said, the goal was to break government and they set about doing that to somehow demonstrate to the rest of us that government doesn't work, that democracy doesn't work. It absolutely does. It just doesn't work for them. Because when democracy does work, they are paying their fair share and they have to follow the rules and they have to follow the regulations. There are regulations that protect people. Those regulations are gone, and now we are seeing the fallout from that.
What about just caring about your neighbors? Whatever happened to just saying, we used to see the Gary Indianas of the world, and we used to see the Puerto Ricos, and we used to come together as a country, and we used to say, we are going to help. We're going to do everything we can to help. And we didn't care whether they were Democrat or Republican. We didn't care what they were our neighbors. They were here in this country. We love them. We want to make things better for them. And we want to help whatever way we can. Now it's just every man for himself. Every woman for themselves, every kid for themselves. Now it doesn't matter. So what is this entire security apparatus about? Why do we have flock cameras everywhere? Why do we have all this stuff? Why are we spending money on a surveillance state? Why am I being taxed if you're telling me that my tax dollars provide me nothing? What good is it?
Why are we paying taxes?
Right? Like you're telling me the surveillance state, the flock cameras are for my benefit to protect me in case something happens to me. Well, something is happening to me. and it's being perpetrated by my government, and nobody wants to do anything about it because that's supposedly for my benefit.
It's
Like, do you
incredibly
understand
twisted.
how twisted and fucked up that relationship is? That is what we call an abusive
So
relationship.
relationship, literally was
Right.
going to say that. It's like staying with the abuser.
That is what we call an abusive relationship. This is not, right? Like, people talk about, like, oh, America, you're talking negative against America, or you're un-American by talking that way. Here's the thing. I am in an abusive relationship with America right now. That has become pretty clear. And the fact that money is going out of my pocket, going to my government, and not being utilized in a way that benefits me. And what they're doing is they are now surveilling me and you and everybody else because of that. This is an abusive relationship. Think about if this was you and your partner decided that they were going to put a GPS tracker on you, that they were going to make sure that they knew everywhere you went and all that kind of stuff. But when it came to them earning money, that they didn't share anything with you, that you had to live separately from them and you had to fend for yourself and blah, blah, blah. But they expected you to give them money. Right.
But
So
they'll keep an eye on you.
You're going out and just to keep an eye on you. And you receive no benefit from that relationship whatsoever.
What does that mean to you? Right. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. The whole point of government, and I'm going to quote our town supervisor here, who said, it's government's job to do things for you that you cannot do for yourself. Things like having clean running water, making sure the water is clean, making sure your roads are paved properly and your sewers are running and not backing shit up into your house. Making sure that when the winter comes, the snow's plowed, making sure that the electrical lines are safe and providing power to housing and working with the electrical companies to deliver that power, which is what should be happening in Indiana right now. And the Indiana, as Neil just pointed out, that governor has $2 billion that he could put towards getting those lights back on. And he has said, fuck you to the Indiana people. I hope you remember that when he's up for election. I hope you remember that.
It's the idea. So, and this isn't really the fault of, like, just the Republicans. I mean, Democrats have been failing for years. And what we see is now we're looking at, like, a politician like Mamdani in New York City, and he's actually getting things done. I mean, it has nothing to do with him being a democratic socialist or a communist or whatever. Look at what he's doing. He's fixing fucking potholes. That's fucking government's job, is to fix fucking potholes and make your city or your town or your village work for you. That is the job. Okay? If you're telling me that only belief in doing your job is only by DSA or Democratic Socialists of America, right? Then you are really fucked up and you have a really fucked up view of the world, because that's the job. Everybody that should be elected, whether they be Republican or Democrat, should be able to get potholes filled in.
Yes.
Like,
they should be able to offer affordable ways of fixing roads in other ways, making sure that, again, the water is clean. He's gone out and has made the city safer. And as a result, by providing more affordable options for people who are struggling to get by, to make things a little bit easier for residents in the city, the result is New York City has had the safest 8 months straight now than it has, I think, ever in recorded history. Anyway, since they were recording these things.
And here's the other thing too, right? That Mamdani's done. He's brought joy back to the city.
Yes.
Right. I lived in New York City for close to 15 years. And I'm going to say that, there wasn't, it was hard. It was hard. I mean, you were like, it was like every day was, it's fun to live in the city, but it was just hard, and now you're seeing people, people going out and meeting, they're gathering in public, they're enjoying each other's company, things that you didn't see. You know, you used to have these free concerts. I remember there was a free concert in Central Park once, okay, under Bloomberg, and he got upset because they were drinking beer. It's okay to drink wine, but it's not okay to drink beer. Okay. And, you know, and he tried to say that it was a different class of people.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah, he
that's why. Right. And Mamdani is saying it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Everybody should be able to enjoy the city no matter what class you are. And again, this is why it comes down to this is a top bottom issue. This is not a left right issue, right? There is,
absolutely.
right? You could say communism is bad, fascism is bad, you know, and or capitalism. You can make these generalizations, but it really comes down to the people. The people that are running these governments. Like we see administrators in China. Just as much as people are going to say, "Oh, I'm a communist for saying this," this is true. This actually happened. Read your business news. AT&T, okay, just moved from a US-based AI company to a Chinese AI company. They were able to save 50% of their costs by making that transition, okay, and only lose 2% of their productivity, thereby
Interesting.
increasing their bottom line. That is business. This is not rhetoric. This is not, oh, capitalism, communism, whatever. This is business. These are business decisions that are being made today.
Let me
Okay?
ask you a question
Don't
about that.
be upset with me. Be upset with AT&T. This is the decision that they made to help their bottom line.
Yeah,
Yes,
their
Denise.
bottom line. Will that translate to more affordable cell phone rates for customers, do you think?
No, one
Of
thing has
course
nothing
not.
to do with the other.
Yeah.
One thing has nothing to do with the other. But if we're talking about capitalism, this is what's happening. We are getting beat. And the reason we're getting beat is because of the fact that we've allowed consolidation to occur to the point where these AI companies in the United States want to charge subscriptions for everything. Everything.
Yes.
People are getting sick of fucking subscriptions. You have a subscription to use your car. You have a subscription to use your phone. You have a subscription to use your television. You have a subscription to use your computer. Right? Like, you can go to China and use their open AI and save yourself tons of fucking money. This is about how capitalism works. And this is about who's in charge of capitalism right now. And again, they've taken capitalism towards fascism. And now what you're seeing is you're seeing businesses move towards China because the US has gotten so fucking greedy and
Yeah.
we've become so fucking fascist, right? It we need some of those old New Deal laws back in place. We need to break up some of the larger companies. We need innovation. We need to make sure that we have guardrails and controls in place. We have to make sure that our food is being monitored, right? Like there has to
God,
be
yeah.
things in place to make capitalism work for everybody.
Right. And instead we see our elected representatives being capitalist as they accept big money paychecks under the table from billionaires and PACs. And so, we all still have one person, one vote, but ultimately the policy is dictated by the money. And we end up getting ignored. I could say this, if we do take back the House, which I'm pretty sure we will, it's the current Congress adjourns. They're gone at the end of the year. So when the new Congress comes in, they need to vote Jeffries out. They need to vote somebody else to be speaker. What do you think? I mean, do you think they'll do that?
I don't know if it's about the person. I don't know if you elect somebody else other than Jeffries that you're going to get anything different because in our society, every vote can be bought. So when you have politicians that can be bought, and you have the hardships that are going around, I want, these politicians are all millionaires. I mean, these people in the Senate are millionaires. I heard, that the reason why they voted for Todd Blanche was, especially some of those Republicans that are retiring, is because they want jobs after they leave, after they retire from the Senate. You have to remember, every single person has their own personal income to think about. We have designed a system where every politician can be bought and fairly cheaply.
Yeah.
Fairly cheaply. And you can defend capitalism all you want, and you can defend socialism all you want, you could defend communism or whatever the fuck you want to defend. They're all just as good and just as bad as the other. Because it all depends on who you have in charge. Because at the end of the day, you can't prevent, or maybe you can, but this type of corruption. Because this type of corruption's everywhere. It's everywhere. And when you allow people to accumulate wealth, it makes it easier for them to buy people. Okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We talk about taxes in this country. Like, we can't raise taxes. Think that number that you said about money spent in our last election. That is money
461
that
million.
that is money that could have been taxed and could have gone to helping hungry, feed the hungry, house the poor. That money could have actually gone for something, but it went into an election because it went from our pockets as taxpayers into billionaire pockets, which then finds its way into PAC money to be able to buy politicians to get. And why do they do that? Because they talk about deregulation. Well, is deregulation? Trump has deregulated a lot. He got rid of all the food inspectors. Has that made your food prices cheaper? No. He's deregulated the gas and oil industry as well as the coal industry. Has that made your electric bills cheaper? No, it has not. We keep talking. He gave tax cuts. We were told tax cuts create jobs. We've lost jobs 3 quarters in a row. So at some point, the American people start recognizing that all they're doing is being fed lies by the same people who keep getting you to believe in these lies. They keep gaslighting you to believe, well, if we do this, well, this is, that didn't work, but this. Everything is, well, that didn't work, so let's try another tax cut. Oh, well, that tax cut didn't work. It wasn't big enough. We need a bigger tax cut. Like, everything is one lie after another. And until the American people wake up and realize that they're the ones getting screwed, and it's these people that are screwing them, again, it doesn't, you don't have to be a fan of DSA, but they're at least coming up with real policies. When we start seeing real policies on the right, on the Republican side, or on the corporate Democratic side, maybe we should vote for them. But they have no policy. Their
Yeah,
policy is just more
they're not
tax
coming
breaks.
up with policy.
Right.
It's
It's
just
just
more of
more
the
tax
same.
breaks. Right.
More tax breaks for the wealthy class, and we'll pick up the tab.
Right. Well, I mean, like, what did Gillibrand say? Gillibrand said, "Oh, tariffs," and she's talking the same shit.
Wait, she's talking in support of tariffs.
No, she's saying that oh, well, we need affordability, so we need to go back to. She's talking about going back to the Affordable Care Act again, right? She's talking like she's retreading the old stuff that we know just is right. Like okay, you get rid of the tariffs, but prices haven't come down. We've seen tariffs come and go over the past year. Prices haven't come down. Prices have stayed high, right?
And they're getting
Because
higher.
Right, because the dollar is worth less, and corporations say, well, if I charge more, I can make more money.
Wow. We are just being bled dry here. Siphoning off every last penny from us.
Right, and when the market crashes, that'll be the nail in the coffin. And will there be any politicians that actually care enough about the American people to come up with New Deal style legislation that will help the American people through the next crisis? And here's what I'm going to say. The answer is your DSA people are going to be it. your AOCs of the world, the El Sayeds of the world. Again, you may not like them and you may not like their policies, but they're the ones that will actually be the people to come up with the legislation that actually helps Americans. Because all you're going to hear from the Republicans and corporate Democrats is, well, this is just capitalism, and you have to lift yourself up by your bootstraps. If you're struggling, that's your fault.
How many
I mean,
times do
because
we have
that's
to hear that?
but that's what we've been hearing. That's been their response. That was their response to the entire Biden administration. As much as we, everybody, we heard the Republicans, crap on Biden, saying, well, Biden needs to do this, Biden needs to do that, and Biden didn't do this. So we heard all these things that Biden didn't do for you, but it wasn't like that the Republicans were going to do it for you. The Republicans just pointed out the fact that Biden wasn't doing it. And then they came into office and they doubled down and they said, you see, Biden didn't do it for you, but now we're definitely not doing it for you. We're going to actually go the opposite direction and we're going to do the opposite for you, which is what they did. And then they turned around and said capitalism in bootstraps.
Yes. Yeah, just a funny thing, point about that, because we just, you'll see, we did another video regarding the national debt crossing 40 trillion. And I forgot to mention in that video, and I'll mention it here, when asked about that, the Republicans are now framing that it's Biden's fault. It's Biden's fault that they added $4 trillion in 19 months to the national debt. It's Biden's fault that they've been spending money like it's water while cutting taxes for the wealthiest and eliminating a chunk of the tax revenue base in the form of immigrants, regardless of whether they're legal or not. They worked and they paid taxes into the system. And now we're not getting that. And cutting jobs.
It's not even just right. That's the thing. They've cut demand. And when you cut demand, then there needs to be a corresponding cut in supply. And at which point in time, when you have a cut in supply, you have a downsizing of your employees. So this all goes hand in hand to how bad this administration has been.
Yeah, absolutely awful.
And so, like, it's really up to the American people to turn this around. You elect better people. And we see this locally too. Like, the blame game, Republicans get in office, they destroy your local government. And then when a Democrat gets in and tries to fix it, all they do is bitch and moan about, oh, taxes and this, that, and the other thing. So then you vote the Republicans back in, who then destroy your local economy again, a la Gary, Indiana, right?
Yes.
So we need to do a better job of hiring our elected officials, because we are hiring managers, right? Stop dealing with rhetoric and start asking tough questions about what plan do you actually have to put in place to make this work? What are you actually doing?
That's it. That's it. And we keep saying that. You gotta be invested in who these people are that are running, and look at the grassroots candidates, because they're the ones that aren't getting the big money. So that's the best advice we can say. So I'm going to wind up here. If you've got any comments, please leave them below. 7 words or more to feed the algorithm. As always, please subscribe, like and share, and subscribe. Click that bell. Make sure you have it set to all so you get notified when new videos drop. And hey, check out our sister channel, the Tau Talk Podcast. That's TOW Talk Podcast. Stands for the municipality where we live, town of Wallkill, where we talk about the importance of being involved in local government and what could be happening in your own backyard that you're not even paying attention to. All right, folks. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you, and we will see you soon. Take care, guys.
Peace out.